What's up everybody and welcome to Sanctuary Farms. Parker Jean here, co-founder of Sanctuary Farms. Today I want to show you guys how to maximize your space on your farm or garden. Here within the city of Detroit, we're an urban farm, so we're always thinking about how we can maximize our space and be more efficient with our growing. So this video is going to cover how you can grow multiple things together and how you can organize that space within inside your hoop house or outside the hoop house. So I've seen some pretty clever videos out there on TikTok and things like that with people shaping their tomatoes into more of like a bush or, you know, different kinds of pruning methods. But for us, our goal is pretty old school. It's pretty simple. What we're trying to do is find a central leader so that way everything goes upward. It's very easy to harvest and it's very organized in terms of the spacing. That way we can grow things like basil underneath. And these tomatoes are going to grow tall. They can grow over 8 feet tall, which at some point we'll have to deadhead them. But so our goal, I want to show you guys how we're basically just pruning these suckers on the tomato plant, and we're always finding that central leader. So here you can see we've got one of the branches of the tomato plant, and right there in that little nook, that's the sucker. And if we didn't do that, it would start focusing its energy into creating more of like a bush-like type plant where each one of these suckers would eventually try to produce their own fruit. So if we can get rid of these, then we can find what that central leader is, and that's going to really make everything more efficient and more organized. Now it's also important, we like to get rid of these bottom leaves so that way it creates some space for the things underneath like basil that we're growing. So we'll get rid of some of these bottom leaves. You can see there's the sucker again. Just taking your time to make sure you're not clipping the ones that have fruit on them. But we can identify several suckers here. You can also just pinch things with your fingers too. Sometimes they get a little big and then it's better to use the clippers, but when they're small it's easy to just use your fingernails. And then we just tie it up like that. And there we go, we've freed up space for the things underneath it, and we've created a more efficient system where the tomatoes are encouraged to grow upward as opposed to in a bush. All right everybody, so you can see here we've also got some cucumbers growing amongst the peppers. Now the peppers are only going to get 1.5 feet, maybe 2 feet tall, whereas these cucumbers are going to grow, they can grow over 8 feet tall as well. Usually on the ground they might sprawl up to 15 to 20 feet, so we're really trying to create them in a very controlled growing manner. And the same concept applies where you'll see that there's going to be these offshoots on the plant, and you can thin out those bottom leaves and then look for those offshoots along the way, so that way you're finding that central leader still. You might notice that some of the bottom leaves a little more prone to mold and sometimes diseases and things like that, you know, so we're just gonna thin those out also for purposes to free up room for the pepper plants. What's up everybody? So we're here 5 weeks after the previous video. You can see everything's grown like crazy since the last video. Things are way taller than me. We're at the point now where we're actually having to deadhead the plants to prevent them from growing too tall. And I want to share with you guys a couple things that we've been doing since the past video in terms of pruning. So what we're doing is we're looking for, you know, obviously some of these suckers have gotten a little bit out of control, and it's been so much work that we can't do everything. So we've kind of accepted some of the suckers, and what we're doing is we're basically just pruning them. If we see flowers already, then we're just kind of letting them go, but we're still pruning them, kind of in a way deadheading it. If we see the flowers, and especially if we see tomatoes already forming on some of those suckers, at this point we're basically just leaving them. Now I want to show you guys what we're doing in terms of deadheading. Basically, if the plant is higher than I can reach, I got to cut the head off. So right here, what I'm looking for is that next round of tomatoes. See the flowers, see the tomatoes. So I just cut right above it. I'm gonna prune that sucker right there too, because that's just gonna get another foot tall in a couple days. And then we are still doing some tying. We've also had a few plants that have fallen over, so we've had to stay on top of tying to make sure things are staying strong. But everything is really looking great. You can see how much the plants have put into their fruit as opposed to the branches and the leaves. So since we've been taking care of those bottom branches and pruning most of the suckers, you can really see how much fruit there is on these tomato plants. So it's definitely paying off. It's gonna keep paying off, and we're really excited. We've gotten some good harvests already. Earlier this week, we just harvested 60 pounds. So things are coming together out here. I wanna show you guys around and see how it looks. You can see though, a lot of these tomatoes are looking really strong, really healthy. There were a couple casualties along the way. Some of them didn't get enough water and they ended up dying, but that's very few. Probably about 98% of the plants are doing well. We also did have a little bit of problems with some hornworms, so we've been plucking those and putting them outside for the birds to eat. Other than that, it's been a lot of work, but it's been paying off. All right, y'all, so what I can say about pruning is it's definitely a lot of work, but it pays off in the long run. If you can just do a little bit of work each week, staying on top of the suckers, pruning the diseased or damaged fruit, and pruning those bottom leaves, you're gonna be successful, and you're definitely gonna have a bountiful harvest. Thank you guys for watching. Please comment if you guys have any tips or tricks and what you guys do for your tomato plants. Please let us know. We always love hearing feedback. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more videos real soon.